Hey everyone, welcome back to Bryce Unplugged and happy Saturday. Grab a coffee, pull up a chair, or if you're already sitting in one and wondering why getting back out of it feels like a government application, welcome to the club. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that came up for me this week because we talked about exercise and we talked about voice changes. And on the surface, those two seem like two different topics. One is movement and the other is communication. One is about trying to keep your body going, and one is about trying to keep your voice in the room. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized they are connected by something even bigger. They both show how Parkinson's does not always take things loudly. Sometimes Parkinson's takes things quietly, little by little, without making a big announcement. Like there's no marching band, no official letter, no email that says, "Hello, Bryce, just letting you know we'll now be making your voice softer and your motivation more complicated." It just starts happening. A little less confidence, a little less energy, a little less volume, a little more hesitation, a little more planning, a little more wondering if today is going to be one of those days. And that's what I want to talk about today. The things that Parkinson's quietly takes before you even realize that you're grieving them. Because Parkinson's is not just symptoms. You know this. It's not just a tremor. It's not just stiffness. It's just not just slowness. It's not just your voice changes. It's not just your off period. It's not just freezing. It's all the little adjustments that you have to make around those things. You know, it is the way your world slowly starts needing more negotiation. You have to negotiate with your body. You have to negotiate with your meds. You have to negotiate with your sleep. You negotiate with your plans. And you negotiate with your confidence. Also your calendar, right? And sometimes you have to negotiate with your shoes. So honestly, some days feel like they're just designed by someone who never met a human foot. And the wild part is a lot of those negotiations happen silently. You know, people don't see them. They just see the end result. They see you cancel plans. They see you talk less. They see you sit more. You know, they see you hesitate, or they see you move differently, or they see you get tired. But they don't always see the mental math behind that, right? They don't see you thinking, can I make it through this dinner? Are my meds going to last? Is my voice going to be there? Are they going to hear me? Am I going to be loud enough? Will people notice that I'm struggling? And honestly, will there be a bathroom nearby that doesn't require an expedition team and a laminated map? Right? That is the stuff that people don't see. And that is the stuff that can wear you down. Now, this week when we talked about exercise, what really stood out to me was not just exercise itself, but it was the guilt. So many people with Parkinson's know exercise matters. We know that movement helps. We know staying active is important. But knowing something and being able to do it are not the same thing. And that gap can be brutal. Because when you know what you should do, but your body will not cooperate, it can start to feel like failure. And I hate that. I hate that people always dealing with Parkinson's then have to carry guilt on top of it. Because guilt is heavy. And Parkinson's has already packed enough nonsense into the backpack. We don't need guilt in there too, sitting on top like a smug little wet raccoon. That's why I love the idea from the exercise episode. Good day workout, bad day workout, minimum day workout. Because that gives people permission to stop treating every day like it has to be the same. And Parkinson's is not the same every day. So why do we expect our exercise plan to be the same every day or every week? Some days, yes, maybe you can do the full workout. Some days, maybe 10 minutes is the win. And some days, maybe standing up and moving a little is a win. Some days, maybe you put on your shoes is the first of your tiny rebellion. And yes, modified counts. That line matters. Modified counts. Because it pushes back against the idea that if you cannot do the full thing, you did nothing. That's not true. That is Parkinson's trying to turn one hard day into a full season finale. And I refuse to let Parkinson's become the executive producer of my life. Then we talked about voice changes. And that one hit differently because your voice is personal. Your voice is not just noise coming out of your face. Your voice is how you take up space. It's how you tell stories. It's how you make someone laugh. It's how you say I'm fine while absolutely lying through your teeth because you don't have the energy for a full explanation. It's how you ask for help. It's how you say I love you. It's how people hear you before they even see you. So when Parkinson starts messing with that, with your voice, you can feel like it's messing with your presence. And that can be very scary because it doesn't happen at once, and it happens quietly. All of a sudden, people just start saying, what? Then they say, can you repeat that? And then you hear speak up. And after a while, you start deciding whether the sentence is worth the effort. That's the part people don't understand. It's not just that your voice gets softer. It's your willingness to use it gets smaller. And that's not okay. Because you still have things to say. You still have stories to tell. You still have some jokes, except for Brian. You still have questions, you have opinions, you have complaints. Your voice still matters. Even if Parkinson's tries to lower the volume. And that was the Bryceism from the voice episode, and I still believe it. Parkinson's may lower the volume, but it does not get to lower the value of what you have to say. And I think that applies to more than voice. Parkinson's may slow your body, but it does not lower your value. Parkinson's may change your routine, but it does not lower your value. Parkinson's may change what you can do in a day, but that does not lower your value. Parkinson's may make exercise harder, conversations harder, sleep harder, plans harder, and getting out of a chair wildly dramatic. But it does not get to decide what you're worth. And that is something I think we need to say out loud sometimes. Because this disease can quietly make people feel smaller. And not because they are smaller, but because the world around them starts responding differently. People talk over you. People rush you. People correct you. People try to finish a sentence. People say, just walk. People say, just speak up. People say, you look fine. People say, at least it's not worse. And sometimes people, they don't mean harm by that. Sometimes they just don't understand. But the result still hurts. That is why language matters so much. And that is why I keep trying to give people sentences that they can use. Not because one sentence fixes Parkinson's. Wouldn't that be nice? Imagine that for a minute. Congratulations, you said the sentence. Parkinson's has now been removed from your account. Nope. No, we don't get that button. But a sentence can help someone understand. A sentence can help reduce pressure. A sentence can start a better conversation. And a sentence can give you a way to say, this is what's happening to me, and this is what I need. And that's powerful. When I say, when I freeze, I'm not choosing to stop, that matters. When I say, I'm noticing my voice is getting softer, people are asking me to repeat myself, and it seems worse when I'm off or tired, that matters. When I say I'm trying to exercise, but when I do it close to an off period, I feel more stiff and wiped out afterwards, that matters. Because those sentences take something invisible and they make it visible. They turn I'm struggling into something people can actually understand. And I think that is part of why this community matters, because people come here and they don't just get information. They get words. They get examples. They get permission to say, that's me. They get to look at the comments and see someone else saying, me too. And honestly, I think me too is one of the most powerful things we have in this community. Because me too does not fix the symptom, but it can reduce the loneliness. And sometimes that's the first breath of relief someone's had all week. When someone comments voice or modified counts or frozen or me too, that's not just engagement. Sure, YouTube loves it, right? The YouTube algorithm does its tiny mysterious robot dance and throws the video out there. But more importantly, someone else sees it and they think, okay, I'm not the only one. I am not the only one who freezes. I'm not the only one whose voice is disappearing. I'm not the only one who gets to feel guilty or is feeling guilty about exercise. I'm not the only one who gets embarrassed. I'm not the only one trying to explain something that people can't see. That's community. And that's why I keep asking to comment. Not just because it helps the video, not because anything, it's just I appreciate it, everything you do, but because your comment may be the exact thing that another person needs to see. And it might be someone else's me too. And that's what matters. Now, I also want to talk about care partners for a second, because Carmen's Care Partner Corner has really been hitting lately. And I think it's because she's saying something care partners need to hear, but also something people with Parkinson's need their care partners to hear. Care partners are not just watching from the outside. They're living the inside the disease too, just from a different room. But they are watching the changes, right? And they're trying to help. They're trying not to overhelp. They're trying to know when to step in and when to step back, when to say something and when to be quiet. And none of that is easy, because helping someone with Parkinson's can become complicated fast. You want to encourage exercise, but you don't want to nag, right? You want to hear what they said, but you don't want to make them feel corrected. You want to help when they freeze, but you don't want to make the moments worse. You want to protect them, but you don't want to manage them like a project. That's a hard line to walk. And honestly, I think that the Care Partner message from this week can apply to almost anything. Support the person, do not correct the symptom. That's huge. Because when someone's struggling, they don't need to feel like every symptom is being graded, right? They need support. They need dignity. They need patience. They need honesty. And yes, sometimes they need practical help. But practical help lands better when it's wrapped in respect. So maybe that's the bigger message this week. Whether it's exercise, voice, freezing, dyskinesia, off period, sleep, the goal is not perfection. The goal is to stay connected to your life, to your people, to your body, to your voice, to your movement, to your confidence, to your sense of self. Because Parkinson's will try to quietly take those things. But we can notice, we can name it, we can talk about it, we can ask for help, we can modify, and we can use the sentence. We can make the comment. We can say, me too. We can show up again tomorrow, even if today was weird, especially if today was weird. And maybe that, again, is what doing life today really means. It doesn't mean pretending everything's okay. It doesn't mean turning every symptom into a motivational poster with a sunrise and a suspiciously perfect font. It means telling the truth and then finding a way to live inside that truth without disappearing. That's the work. That is the fight. That is the community. So here's my question for you today. What is something that Parkinson's has quietly taken from you or trying to take from you? Your confidence, your voice, walking freely, sleep, independence, spontaneity, the ability to just leave the house without planning, like you're launching a moon mission. Or maybe it has taken something you didn't even realize you were grieving until someone else said it out loud. Drop it in the comments. You can write the whole story or just write one word, voice or confidence, sleep, movement, me too, whatever fits. Because someone else may read your comment and they will realize that they're not alone. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm glad you found us. This is not a perfect corner of the internet. This is a real corner. We talk about Parkinson's honestly here. We laugh when we can. We complain when we need to. We support each other. And we keep doing life today. And if that sounds like your kind of place, then hit subscribe. It's free. It helps more people find these conversations. And most importantly, it lets you know when another episode's coming out. And if you're not in the club, that's where it all happens. Come on to the club. It's free. There's a link in the description below. Nobody has to do this alone. Nobody. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. And thank you for being part of mine. Thank you for letting Carmen and me into your homes, your kitchens, your living rooms, your phones, your tablets, and whatever device that you're using while pretending you're definitely not watching videos about raccoons stealing cat food. No judgment. Safe space. But you know what? Until next time, actually, before I say that, I want you to know this. If you're new here or you're feeling down, I want you to know that you're not alone. Actually, you never were. And now you'll never be again. I love you. Whatever you do, you keep showing up, you keep being real. And you keep doing life today, and I'll see you this week in the episode. It's going to be a great big week. Guess what week it is? Who knew week? It's going to be a great week around here. We'll see you soon.